the sensor. Okay, then take the what is the external temperature outside the environment, outside the room or outside the car. Okay, that is your input for your microcontroller. Based on that, the output will be worked out. Okay, that's why the sensor is used for a taking a input, and it is a transducer. Okay, it is a transducer that converts energy from one form to another form. Any measurement or control purpose. Example is a temperature sensor. It means that, see, temperature sensor, how to sense the temperature means there is the analog will be there. That will be converted into digital. Okay, that is your input signal to the your embedded system. Okay, that's called the sensor. Let me go for uh, the sensor. The sensor is used for taking a input. Okay, it's just like a transducer. Transducer means it converts the energy from one form to another form. Here we can see that temperature will be the form of heat, but the sensor they will converted in that will be some of the electrical signals. Okay, based on the electrical signals will either they converted into voltage form or they converted into a current form. Okay, through the conversion we will get the they will measure the temperature and display in a digital form. Okay, that's why the sensor is also called as a transducer. A transducer converts energy from one form to another form for any measurement or any control purpose. Okay, not only for temperature sensor, we go for the humidity sensor or otherwise soil moisture sensor. Okay, these are the sensors. They will detect the what is the actual real time values the particular room or particular surrounds. Okay, that is just given the input to the your embedded system. Based on the input signals, the output will be uh, controlled through by using the actuators. Okay, so the actuator also is used for the output. Okay, actuator is for the output. It is also a transducer. Okay, that may be either mechanical or electrical, which converts signals. Okay, transducer also the actuator also a transducer that may be either mechanical or electrical, which converts signals to corresponding the physical action. Okay, based on the input signal. Suppose you take an example, controlling the valve. Okay, based on the water level, sensor they will send the signal to the microcontroller or processors, embedded processor. Then, if it is the tank is filled, the microcontroller will send the signal to the actuator to close the valves. Okay, see that is a opening and closing valves are there. No, that is even mechanical switches. Okay, that should be performed by using the electromechanical equipment. Okay, electromechanical equipment that is called as a actuators. Okay, see an embedded system is in a constant interaction with the real world, and the controlling monitoring function executed by the embedded system is achieved in accordance with the change happening to the real world. The changes in the system environment or variable are detected by the sensors connected to the input port of the embedded system. Means all of the interfaces. We see, initially I told there is a standard embedded system. It has an input and output ports. Means input will be connected to the sensor and output will be connected to the actuators. Both are transducer only. Okay. Here, if you want to measure in something environmental variable or something detected some variable through the sensor only they will detect. And these sensors will be connected to the input port of the embedded system. Okay, then the embedded system is designed for any controlling purpose. The system will produce some changes in the controlling variables to bring the controlled variable to the desired value. Based on the application, there is a control algorithm or control program they have flagged with the particular microcontroller. Based on the input signals, they will take the action and send to the output actuators to controlling the variables or controlling the variable to the particular time duration. Okay, and this variable, how to controlling this variable is through the actuator. Okay, these actuators are connected to the output port of the embedded system. Okay, actuator is connected to the output port of the embedded. The actuator is Actuator is nothing but they should do something physical work. Okay, it may be either a mechanical or electrical, which converts signals to corresponding physical action. They will do some physical action. Suppose if you take an example, closing and door, close and open the door, based on the sensing signals, they will send the actuator to close or to open the doors or windows. Okay, based on some controlled parameter signals, some environmental signals, they will take the information from the sensor, and then the same based on the actuator, the actuator, the output variables are correspondent in a particular action. Okay, this is the actuator and the sensor. Okay, clear about this one? Any doubt? Okay, see, once again I'll repeat that the sensor is nothing but is used for taking the input. Okay, example, temperature sensor, humidity sensor, water level sensors. Okay, these are some of the examples. And the actuator is used for the output. Okay, either it may be a mechanical transducer or electrical transducer. Okay, mechanically, this opening and closing valves, there is a mechanical transducer. Electrical is the connection of the signal. Okay, there is some form of signal will be converted to another form of the signal to do some of the physical actions. Okay, that's why they are using the actuators. But in sensor, this also transducer. The real time values will be converted to other form of energy that should be given to the microcontrollers for controlling the purpose, because of the microcontroller only accepts the digital values. Okay, digital set of data only. Okay, if you go for temperature sensor, it's about 25 degree. That is an analog value that will be converted to another form of signals, the digital signals that will be embedded system to control the things. Okay, there is a difference between a sensor and actuators. Okay, clear about this one? Say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then sensor is a, see once again, the sensor is a transducer device that converts energy from one form to another form for any measurement or control purpose. Example, you can say there is a Hall effect sensor, humidity sensor, temperature sensor, moisture sensor, and then water level indication sensor. We have a number of sensors are there. Okay, if you go for any automated car, okay, there's a car automation. Okay, there is a number of sensors are used for the presence in a particular vehicle. Okay, that is the input for the main embedded system. Okay. Then similarly, actuator also a transducer, the electromechanical transducer. They do some corresponding physical action. That's a motion action. To open, close. Okay, the movement backward, forward, like that. Okay, that is the actuator acts as the output device to the stepper motor. To the stepper motor to controlling something, some devices. Okay, these are the actuators. And then input output subsystem. See, in the input output subsystem of the embedded system facilities the interaction of the embedded system with the external world. Okay, see, input and output should be there, ports should be there in the embedded system. Through this input output ports only, we can make the connection between the external worlds, otherwise external devices also. Okay, then the interaction happens through the sensor and actuator connected to the input and output port respective of the embedded system. It means that all the sensors are connected to the input ports, but all the actuators are connected to the output ports in the embedded system. And then the sensor may not be directly interfaced to the input port. Instead, they may be interfaced to the signal conditioning and translating system like ADC or optocoupler. Okay, through the ADC. Okay, the sensor. Suppose if you example sensor, temperature sensor, the sensor real time data. Okay, that should be converted to digital. Okay, through the ADC only. Okay, through this ADC only, they will make the connection.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
What about others? What about others?
Same, sir.
Same. Wait a minute. Now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, that's why for all the inputs and outputs, the inputs ports, all the sensors are connected. In the output ports, all the actuators are connected. Okay. And some of the things, some of the sensors, they connected through this optocoupler as well as the ADC. Now is voice clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please hold on a minute. Okay. Now after that, after this, we should discussing about some of the sensors and then some of the actuators. Okay. Now it is a now we are discussing about the LED. Okay, there's a light emitting diode. See, this is the output. Okay, this is called as the output devices. Okay, suppose something, if you are turning on, turning off the any system, means that indication should be there. We don't know it is turned on and turned off. Okay, if you, for example, a borewell. Okay, there's a tank. If you turn on the tank motor, how to identify the tank motor will be turned on due to how to indicate it. Okay, it is indicated by the green. Okay, if suppose the motor will be turned on, means it indication of green LED. Suppose the motor is in off condition, it is indicated by the red LED. Okay, like that. The light emitting diode is one of the important device for visualizing the indication of the embedded system. Okay, this is the output devices. ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ through this LED device indications. Okay, if you go for in every home there is a motor will be there. Okay, there's a water tank motors, some borewell will be there. Here you can see the indications will be there. Okay, otherwise if you go for to turn on the TV or fridge or anything, okay, to turn on means it is on, means they show some indication. If it is off means there is no indication will be there. Correct now? See, that's why generally this LED light emitting diodes, LED is nothing but light emitting diodes, is an important output devices for visualizing that okay the system will be working or not. Okay, that is indication of the embedded system. When you start working means it shows some indication. Okay, then you go for the next process. Okay, then LED can be used as an indicator for the status of various signals or situation. The status, okay, it is turned on or turned off, as well as some signal indication. Okay, that can be used for the LED. And device is on. Example is given here. Device on. Okay, to turn on the device means they show some the indication. Or battery low. If it's a low the battery, it will be showed in some indication, some color indication. Some color LED will be turned on. Other charging of the battery. If you charging the battery means you can see in your mobile phones. If you charge means the one LED will be low. It is indication of that the device will be charging. Okay, that's a general thing. That's why for every embedded system, most of these LEDs are used for visualizing the indication of the embedded system. And then the proper functioning of the LED, there is a two terminals. One is positive and negative. Okay, that's why anode and cathode. The anode is connected to the positive terminal of the supply voltage, and cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the supply voltage. You can see observe in the figure. Okay, the supply VCC is nothing but this is a positive supply voltage through the resistance. They will connect it to the positive terminal of the anode. Anode terminal of the LED, and cathode terminal will be connected to the ground. Okay. Then the current flowing through the LED must be limited to the value below the maximum current. That's why the load resistance will be connected. You can see when resistance will be connected now, they should not go. Suppose the LED current, the LED specification will be the maximum current will be 2 amps. Suppose take an example. Suppose it will be 2 amps means. Suppose if more current will be flowing through the particular LED means what happens? It is a blow off. That's to avoid those things. That's why there is a series of resistance. The resistance will be connected. The resistance will be connected in series with the positive terminal of the diode. Okay, that's why the current flowing through the LED must be limited to the value below the maximum current. Okay, that's why a series resistance are connected to the LED devices. Okay, resistance means it is oppose the flow of current. It is oppose the flow of current to limit the higher current. Okay, and then the ideal LED This is the circuit diagram for ideal LED circuits configurations. Okay, this is one type of circuit configuration. We would make the connections of any circuit can make the connection is through these connections through this structure only it should connect it. Okay, the plus VCC would be connected to the resistance, and another terminal of the resistance would be connected to the positive terminal. Positive is nothing but the anode terminal of the LED, and negative terminal connected to the ground. Okay, this is the interfacing circuits. This is the ideal LED interfacing circuits. Okay, clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Say yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Then LED can be interfaced to the port pin of the processor or controller in the two-way. Okay, see LED is the output devices. It is also called as the actuators. Yeah. Okay. These are electronic devices. These are electronics output devices. Okay, the LED can be interfaced to the port in the port pin of the processor controller in the two-way. The first method, the anode is directly connected to the port pin, and the port pin drives the LED. Okay, this is the first method. Means the port pin, the output port pin is there, no? The positive terminal. So otherwise, the anode terminal will be directly connected to the port pin. Okay. And that particular port pin is drives the LED circuits. Port pin LED na on and off ಮಾಡೋದು. That is called as a driver circuits. Okay, that drives the LED. Okay, the port pin, there's a source. The current to the LED, which port pin is to logic high. There's a 1. Okay, that is the source of the LED. The port pin acts as the source of the LED. Source is nothing but the flowing current. Okay, and then second method, the cathode of the LED is connected to the port pin of the processor or controller, and the anode to the supply voltage through the current limiting circuits. Okay, current limiting resistor. Okay, another way means the negative terminal. There's a cathode terminal directly connected to the port terminal of the LED. Okay, and then the positive terminal of the anode terminal of the LED should be connected to the supply voltage through resistance. Okay, there's a current limiting resistance. Okay, this is a two-way. Two-way we should connect the LED in the microcontroller or microprocessor. One is the port pin is directly connected to the positive terminal of the LED. That's the anode terminal is directly connected to the port pin. That port pin drives the LED. And second one is if the cathode terminal directly connected to the port, and then anode terminal connected to the supply voltage through the current limiting resistance. Okay. Suppose in this first phase, suppose the port pin will be a I, then the LED will be turned on. The port pin logic will be a 0. Then it shows indicator will be off. Okay, that's why this is a way to connect the embedded the LED in the embedded system. Then LED is turn on when the port pin is logic low 0. Here the output pin sinks current. Okay, the LED will be turned on when the output pin logic will be a 0. Okay, that is because we are connecting the this one. What is that? The cathode terminal of the LED will be connected to the port pin of the processor. Okay, that's why that port pin should show the logic low. Then only LED will be turned on. Here in the first case, the positive anode current. So anode terminal will be directly connected to the port pin. Okay, if suppose the port pin had logic I, then your this one, what is the LED will be turned on. Okay, because of that port pin will be drives the LED in the first method. Okay, second method should be 0, then only it will be turned on. Okay, these are the two methods they are using to connect the LED in the processor and controller. The next one more important output devices is the 7-segment display. This is a 7-segment display. That is the see, for every embedded system there is a display system will be there. Okay, the display is a 7-segment LED display. The 7-segment LED display is an output devices for displaying the alphanumerical character. Okay, based on your programming, it display the numeric or it may be a alphabetical characters. Okay, that's alpha numerical character. They will display both numerand numbers as well as alphabets. Okay, they display these two characters, either alphabetics or either numbers. Okay, this is the LED display is an output device, as you can see everywhere. Okay, for all the embedded systems, there's a display there. If you go for AC, okay, they will show some display. Okay, this much of temperature. Okay, the output temperature will be displayed, and the fan speed it will be displayed. Okay, it means that is your output devices, and then it contains 7 LED segments arranged in a special form used for the displaying alphanumeric character, and 1 LED used for the representing the decimal points in the decimal number display. Okay, we can see that how the 7 how the character will be displayed in the LCD. Okay, you can see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There are 7. This is called a 7-segment display. Okay. And then LED segments are named to A to G. See you can see the segments. The LED segments. How many segments are 7 segments are there? Correct? No? Each segment should be named by A to G, and the decimal point LED segment is named as a DP. Okay. When there's a decimal, DP is there. One dotted it is there. Dotted point is there. No, that is called as a DP. That is a decimal points. Okay. For every LED display, there is a 7 segments that should be arranged in a special form used by the displaying the alphanumerical characters, and one more LED can used. Okay, this is a 1 LED can use for the representing the decimal point in the decimal number display. You can see, observe, there is a one round mark is there now in the figure. That is called your decimal point. Okay, that's why the 7 segment are named as A to G. You can see A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. There is a 7 segment. They will arrange this manner, and then there is a decimal point LED segment is named as a DP. You can see, observe here, DP is also there. Okay, and then the LED segment A to G and DP should be lit according to the display number and character. According to your character, according to your number, it will be a display. Okay, any doubt? See, if you can see, these 7 segment display are widely used in digital clock. Okay, digital clock. You can see up there is a digital clock. They can use this 7 segment display, electronic meters, and calculators. Everyone are using the calculator now. That is a display, and there is a 7 segment display and other numerical and other electronic devices. Okay. Clear? Any doubt regarding this? Any doubt? Hello? It is audible now?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, continue. The 7 segment display LED display are available in 2 different configurations, namely common anode and common cathode. Okay. See, this is a LED light emitting diode. That's a LED. See, there's a 2 types of configuration are there in a 7 segment display. There's a common anode. Okay. See, in the first figure, you can see there is all the anodes are connected commonly. Commonly means all anode will be interconnected. You can see all from A to DP. There is a 7 segment, and then 1 DP is there. Okay, all the anodes are shorted. You can see there's a 1 type of configuration. There's a common anode. Okay, this is a common anode. Another configuration is the common cathode. Another configuration is the common cathode. Here, all the cathode terminals are connected together. Okay, that's called as a common cathode. Okay, these are two configuration: is the common anode and then common cathode. Okay, clear? Please note on the diagram. Dear student, please note on the diagram. It's for very easy to understood. Okay, see, you can see that the common anode configuration and another one is the common cathode configuration. There's a common cathode LED display and common anode LED display. See, in the common anode configuration and the anode of the 8 segments. Okay, 7 segments plus D2. Totally 8 segments are connected commonly. Whereas in the common cathode configuration, all the cathode of 8 LED segments are connected commonly. Diode ali, which one is anode and which one is cathode anta gottalla. Anode andre the arrow is your cathode, the flat head is your anode. Anode is represented by positive and cathode is represented by the negative. Okay, you can see this figure. Okay, clear about this one? Any doubt? Say yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay. Based on the configuration of the LED segments, there's a 7 segment LED unit, and the LED segments, anode and cathode is connected to the port of the processor or controller in the order of A segments to the large segment port pin and DP segment to the more significant port pin. Okay. See, one port will be the all the anode. Okay. There's a 2 configuration: anode, common anode and common cathode. Okay. There's a one terminal. Another terminal. All the 7 segments are connected to the port of the processor and controllers. Okay. Port of the processor controller, either a cathode connection, all the 7 cathode or all 7 anode terminal ports are connected to the processor and controller in the order of A. Okay, it will started from A. You can see, observe in the figure, it will be started from the A and ended to the B. Okay, this is a DP. Okay, that's why the segment A to the least significant port. Okay, that's a LSB. Okay, the segment A should be connected to the least significant bit, and the port pin DP will be, the DP segment should be connected to the most significant port pin. Okay, in the processor. Okay, the processor, you should connect the all LCD pins. Okay, the A will be connected to the least significant port pin, and DP should be connected to the more significant port pin. Then the current flow to the each LED segments should be limited to the maximum value supported by the LED display unit. Okay, the current flowing through that each LED segment should be limited. Okay, that should be kept should be maximum value. Okay, that should be supported to the display unit. Typically, the maximum value of this LED, the maximum current value of the LED display will be 20 milliamps. Okay, there is a 20 milliamps. And then the current can be limited by connecting a current limiting resistor to the anode or cathode of each segment. It means that each, if you found suppose the excess current is flowing through the each port, means what happen? It damages the display. To avoid those things, there is a current limiting resistance. Current limiting resistor. That resistance will be connected in series with all cathode and anode for of each segment. Each segment we should have connected the limiting circuit, because as we have how many 8 LEDs are there? 7 LED for 7 segment for LED display, and 1 will be the DP. Okay, to limit this current, each LED connected through the limiting current limiting resistance. Okay. Then
Sir, PPT is not visible, sir.
now it is not visible.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll check. Now it is visible.
No, sir.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, clear about this one? See, each LED, we should connect the current element limiting circuits, okay, for both anode and cathode of the segments. Wait a minute, it takes some time to display the presentation. Now it is visible. Say yes or no.
Yes, sir. It's
Okay, that is the thing. That is your one of the important output devices. That is a LCD 7-segment LCD display. Okay. The next one more important output devices is the optocoupler. Okay, this is a optocoupler. This is also a solid state devices. Okay, it is also a solid state devices to isolate the two part of the circuits. Okay, the optocoupler combines the LED and photo transistor in a single housing. Okay, you can see, observe here. There is a LED and then there is a photo transistor. Okay, this is a LED and this is a photo transistor. The both will be combined in a single housing. Housing means single chip. Okay, the optocoupler combines combines a LED and as well as a transistors. Okay. Initially, the optocoupler, this is one of the optocoupler devices. It is a solid state devices. Solid state devices to isolate two part of the circuit. That can use for the isolating the two part of the circuit. We want to turn off means through this optocoupler can use for isolating the two circuits. Okay. In the optocoupler, there is one LED and then there is one photo transistor. Okay, both are combined in a single chip. Okay, both will be there in a single housing. Single housing means one case ali adna manufacture ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, there is a one single housing. Okay, what is that figure? This is the figure representation of the optocoupler devices. In electronic circuits, an optocoupler are used for suppressing the interference in data communication and circuit isolations, high voltage separation, and simultaneously suppression of signal intensification. Okay, they can use for these devices to suppressing means to reducing the interfaces in the data communication. So if you can use this optocoupler, we can avoid to remove some of the interfaces during the communications purpose, communication devices, and also they can use for the isolation. Isolation is nothing but to disconnecting the two circuits. Then can use this optocoupler, and also high voltage separations to variation the voltage between the two circuits. There's high voltage separation will be done, and simultaneous separations. Separation can be done based on our specific application, and also some signal intensification. Okay, signal reductions also can use for this kind of optocouplers. Okay, signal reductions. Okay, this is generally you can call as optocoupler as a switch. There's a isolation switch. Isolation switch means this is just like it's circuit breaker. Okay, and then optocouplers can be used on either input circuits or output circuits. They can use for both. Okay, either can use as a input as well as a output circuits. The optocoupler is available as ICs from different semiconductor manufacturer. Okay, it is in the form of IC. Initially, I told now the optocoupler is made up of the two devices, both LED and then phototransistor are combined in a single house. Okay, And some of the manufacturer are given the name. There is a MCTM. There's a MCT2M. That is a IC for Freight Semiconductor is an example for the optocoupler IC. Okay, based on your application, based on the specification, you can choose the ICs. Okay. Clear? Any doubt regarding this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Then next we move on to the how the communication will be happened between the microcontroller and optocoupler. Now you can see this figure. This is optocoupler figure. It is visible now.
No, it's not, sir. It went off.
Okay, we'll check it. Please hold on a minute. See any doubt regarding these LEDs, LCD display and optocoupler? Any doubt regarding this? You can ask me any question now only. Now it is displayed.
No, sir. Why it is not displayed? Please hold on a time. Please hold.
I display through mobile phone now. Now it is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number. Take some time for loading the presentation. Okay, dear students. See, now it is visible now. Now it is visible now. Yes or no?
No, sir. No, sir, it's not visible.
Now it is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, initially I told you people, the octocoupler can be used either a open circuit as well as a input circuit as well as a output circuit. You can see observed in the figure. Okay, this is a octocoupler in a input and output circuits. They can use a Atmel microcontroller. Okay, 80 is nothing but Atmel. Suppose this is a PIC means PIC. Okay, 89C51. This is a Atmel microcontrollers. See, this is a port pin. There's a 2 port pin is given. So they same octocoupler. Okay, the octocoupler IC will be represented by MCT2M. So if you go a type IC MCT2M means that is your octocoupler. Okay, the both ICs are connected in the both input as the output port. Okay, see, this is the way to make the connections. In the octocoupler will be output interfaces means the port pin. The cathode terminal will be cathode terminal will be connected to the port pin in the output side, and the anode terminal of the LED will be connected to the VCC. Okay, and similarly in the output input interfaces, the photo electronics, there's a positive collector terminal connected to the VCC through the current limiting resistance. That should be connected to the port pin, and then the emitter terminal. Okay, there's a emitter terminal will be connected to the ground. Okay, this is a way to make the connections between the octocoupler. Okay, it can be used as a input as well as you can use as a output circuits. Okay, next is the relay. Okay, relay is a electromechanical devices. This relay also a electromechanical devices. Okay, in the embedded system application, the relay unit acts as a dynamic path selector for signal and flow. If you want to see, a relay is nothing but to turning and turning off. There's an electromechanical switcher to turn on or turn off. They make the path, otherwise they disconnect the path for flowing the power or flowing the signals. That is called as using the relay. And then relay unit contains a relay coil made up of insulated wires and a metal core and metal armature with one or more contactor. Okay, it is nothing but is a contactor. Okay, the relay coil is nothing but it is a contactor. If relay will be turned on means they make the connection, then the signal will be flowing through that particular path, or power can be flowing through the particular path. Okay, that will be made up of the electromechanical. This one. Okay, there is a contactor. This is an electromechanical contactor. It is also called as a contactors. Okay, there is one armature will be there. One is a moving coil, and another is the fixed coil will be there. Based on the signaling, it will be make the contact. It will make the disconnect the contact. Okay, that is called as a relay. Okay, that is called as a relay. And then relay works on electromagnetic principles. When a voltage is applied to the relay coil, the current will flows through the coil, which turns to generate the magnetic field. Okay, and the magnetic field attract the armature core and moves the contact point. The moment of the contact point changes the flow or signal flow path. Okay, there is a fixed and there is a fixed and movable coil will be there. Suppose in the fixed coil, okay, they will give some supply voltage. That coil will be generating the electromagnetics. That electromagnetics will attract the movable coil. Then the contactor will be closed. Then they will give the path for the flowing the power as well as a signal. Okay. Then we can see observe. There is some of the relay configuration are given here. The relays are available in a different configuration. Okay. For a given below illustrate the widely used relay configuration for embedded application. See, this is a coil. This is the inductor is there. Inductor symbol is there. That is called as a coil. There's a fixed coil. That's called as a relay coil. Okay. When it is generated, when the electromagnetic will be generated in the relay coil, the switch will be closed, because based on your magnetic flux, generate the magnetic flux, then the movable coil will be attract the contactors. Okay, there is a single pole, single throw, normally open. Okay, this is a single pole. Okay, there's a single pole. There's a single pole, single throw. Okay, only one throw will be there. Only one throw. Okay, now it is initially it is normally open, and then second configuration single pole, single throw, normally closed. Okay, initially it is a closed. Okay, there's a different types of application they can use. Okay, suppose the initial relay will be normally closed or initially will be normally open. Okay, based on your configuration. Based on your configuration. Suppose if you make in your room, there is a relay coil will be there. There's a TP switch. You can call it a TP switch. There is a relay coil. There's a normally closed coil. Suppose any high current, high voltage will flowing through the circuit means automatically it will cut the whole power supply. Okay, that's why initially it is a normally closed.
When relay will be activated, it will be open the circuits. Okay. Again, the one more type is there, relay coil. There is a single pole, double throw. Okay, there is a single pole, double throw. In a single pole, there is a two throw will be there. Throw is the 2 points they make the connection, either 1 or 2. There is a 2 output point will be there. They will make connection through this single pole and double throw. Look, these are the diagram for the relay coil. Okay, then see, the single pole single throw configuration has only one path for the information flow. Only one path. You can see, observe here. But is a there's a difference will be there. Normally open as well as normally closed. Initially it is open or initially it is closed. There's a one path of flow of direction, flow of information, or flow of signal, or flow of power. Okay, the path either is open or closed, normal condition. Okay, the path should be either open or closed condition. In normally open signal, single pole single throw relay, the circuit is normally open and it become closed when the relay is energized. When a relay is activated, it will be closed. Okay, initially it is a normally open, and then second is normally closed signal pole single throw relay. The circuit is normally closed. When the relay will be activated or energized, it will be open. Okay, the second the third diagram is the single pole double throw configuration. There are two paths of the information flows, and they selected by the energizing the or de-energizing the relay. Okay, if you want energizing means it will go for the next throw. If it is not activated, it will for another path. Okay. Okay, this is the last slide. We'll finish and we'll stop the session. And then see the relay. See, normally the relay can use for the controlling the there's a protecting devices. Normally it is used as a protecting devices in a industry sectors. Okay, the relay is normally controlled by using the relay driver circuit connected to the port pin of the processor and controllers. This is the way to make the connection for the processor. Okay, this is a relay unit. Okay, relay, it may be either normally open or normally closed. Okay, again transistor can use building the relay drive circuit. You can see observe here. There's a transistor can use for the driving circuit for the relay. Driving means they will give some power supply for activating the energizing the relay. Okay, that's called as a driving circuit. They will give some power to that particular circuit. That's why here they are using the transistor can use for the building the relay driver circuits. And then there is a freewheeling diodes. Are they used for the freewheeling the voltage produced in the opposite direction? Suppose because of electromagnetic the magnetic flux are induced in this relay coil, the self-induction, the power will be generated. Okay, due to that flux only, the power will be generated. Okay, some of the there is a different types of self-induction will be there. There's a self-induction or mutual induction. Okay, self-induction also self itself they induce the EMF. Okay, that's why to give the path for that particular EMF, that's why they are using the freewheeling diode. Okay, they should not to oppose the flow of they should not flow the opposite direction of current or voltage. That's why you are using the freewheeling diodes. Okay. Then freewheeling diode is essentially for protecting the relay of the transistor. Okay, this can very important things. They're protecting the devices. For every transistor, we can go for any electronic circuits. Okay, there is a freewheeling diode to protect the particular relay coils or particular devices. Okay, and most of the industry relays are bulky and require high voltage to operate. Means based on the capacities, it will be a big, large relays are there. That's why they require higher voltage rating. And then some special relays called reed relay are available for embedded application requiring the switching of the low voltage DC signaling. Okay, the reed relays are used for the embedded system. Using this in this relays can use the very low voltage DC signal to turn on the to energizing the coil. Okay, this is the relay. Any doubt regarding this?
No, sir.
Okay, the presentation is visible.
No, sir. It's went up.
No, sir.
Okay. Today some network issue. That's why I'm not able to present the PPT. Okay, next class I will show once again. Okay, today we'll stop here. Okay, thank you all. Those who are present, Anyone make a list and send the present attendance list. Okay, anyone can do that one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.